Hi, dear friends. This is Isra, and we are with Chris and Maggie today. And we are bringing like a topic asking, is Halloween as much fun as it seems? Do we really, and I bring this question, do we really need to celebrate it? Big question. So Chris will be sharing with us his perception, also defining what is Halloween and how we came to, celebrate it and what should we pay attention to.
Well, thank you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a few illustrations up and take you through Halloween. Okay, so happy Halloween to everybody. Is it really as much fun as it seems? Halloween is one of those most widely anticipated and celebrated holidays of the year. During Halloween, kids dress up in fancy costumes and go trick-or-treating to their neighbors, bang on the neighbors' doors and hopefully receive lots and lots of candy. Halloween itself is said to have evolved from the Eve of All Hallows, which was a pagan festival. It was inspired by the pagan festival which honored the dead. And the belief is that the veil between the worlds of the living and the dead is very, very thin in the time of Halloween. People believe that the souls of dead people return to Earth and walk amongst the living at this time. The original intention of Halloween was to use this time for people that new energy and replace the old energy. It wasn't really a time of partying and fun. Unfortunately, now it's just an excuse to get free candy. You'll notice that Halloween has a fun side to it, but it also has a slightly sinister side. I must admit, I'm not sure I'd like to meet any of these guys on a dark night. In the past, people often carved scary faces into lanterns and placed them near their doors to ward off evil spirits. So these pumpkins were actually used as a tool of protection. So it was really to try and scare away evil spirits. There are lots of symbols of Halloween which invoke a feeling of fear. Halloween night is generally thought of as being haunted when the ghosts step out of haunted houses and cemeteries. Bats and crows are symbolized or symbols of fear. And generally, most people don't like bats. They invoke a primeval fear, and crows. They're not an attractive bird, and if it's standing up there in a tree looking at you, it can be quite frightening. Another symbol of Halloween is witches and black cats. Black cats symbolize fear, negativity, and ominous situations. Whenever people see black cats, they think of scary scenarios with evil witches. Hence, the black cat is not considered a good sign. The same with witches. there are good witches, but we tend to think of at Halloween of evil witches that indulge in black magic and make magic potions to accomplish various evil goals. The witch is generally said to be a woman who is very cruel and cunning, and everyone is scared of witches. And the witches are typically seen at night, according to the old tales, flying on their brooms when everyone sleeps. But you can have attractive witches, or you can have scary witches. So it's important to look at what aspect of Halloween you're looking at. A lot of people associate Halloween with horror, and we see a lot of these scary images around that are designed to frighten us. A lot of them have pictures of monsters, ghosts, cemeteries, and graveyards. The cemetery is definitely a very scary place because we associate it with the souls of dead people. And it's really on this horror side of Halloween where problems can occur. One of the things we do for Halloween is we like to dress up. Many people put on a scary costume for Halloween. The key is to distinguish between fun scary and horror scary. When we put on a costume, we feel different. We get into the part. We actually become part of that costume, becomes us. It's an interesting psychological thing that if you put on a costume, you tend to feel you can do the same as the character, which has a good side and obviously has a bad side. When you choose a costume, what are you trying to achieve? Do you want to feel more powerful, scary, sexy? What is the feeling you're trying to evoke? Most of the children's costumes we see are quite harmless, but if you're choosing a costume which has a particularly horrific image, like the clown, I find that clown very, very disturbing, whereas the witch is not so disturbing. So think about what you really want. What are the real concerns with Halloween? I think it's when we create fear. If we do anything at Halloween which creates fear, this is actually a thing that's very serious for us. From the energetic perspective, we create what we think about. And when we focus on the dark side of Halloween, we give it energy. And as you both discussed earlier in a YouTube presentation about books, we don't see everything that's in the world. And unfortunately, there really are negative influences out there which can hurt you. So there really is good and evil, and they are in a war situation. Halloween would be just a fun time if the negative spirits didn't really exist, if ghosts were not real, and if thoughts could not affect you. But unfortunately, some ghosts are real. Most of them are harmless, but there are some which have a very particular negative energy, which can affect you. And negative thoughts can really hurt you. They say sticks and stones will break my bones, but words can never hurt me. But thoughts associated with words can really hurt people. So we have to be careful of those things. So my advice at Halloween is don't play with fire. If any of the Halloween decorations or costumes or things you're doing cause you fear, if you actually feel in your gut that something's not quite right, this is a little frightening, then don't do it. Don't use them. Keep your thoughts very positive and have lots of laughter and fun around Halloween. We believe very much in prayers of protection, and it's always a good idea to put a prayer of protection around you and your children if you go out trick-or-treating or if you go out at night around this time. If you feel concerned about a particular place or person, don't go there. Avoid them, avoid the place. Follow your gut instinct. And that way you can have a safe and happy Halloween. We wrote the Psychic Self-Defense Kit to provide people with information about what is really out there, what can be harmful to you. Because if you don't know these things exist, you don't know you have to do something about it. But by having the ability to know what's actually existing, you can understand what is really happening and you can take control of your well-being. This book provides you lots of techniques to use to protect yourself against negative influences, tells you how to identify what they are and what's happening to you. And it's a general toolkit which is essential for everyone in this day and age. So this is my little talk. I'd like to open it back up to Wesma if she's got any comments.
Thank you, Chris. That's really interesting to see the symbols of Halloween and what they refer to on the magical practice. You remind me of this the broom and the witch costume and some plants also that we might use. And I don't know why Artemisia is coming in, Artemisia vulgaris. So I'm bringing it here as a plant. I don't think it's a part of the Halloween practice, but I feel she's coming in as a bringer of light, because for me she's a vessel of light, and she brings that remembrance of light and love and grace, and she helps us to align also. And I wanted to do two things, Chris. I don't know if you would like to join me on this. I want to pick a card from the Nest of Light, and I want to open randomly the book and see what who can come and what practice we can have. So I'm bringing Artemisia, and we will see what type of symbols can we put in consciously to protect us and to help us to communicate with the ancestors and the spirits in a harmonious way. Okay, so I got the forest. So of course, the forest, being in contact with nature, and I was bringing plant spirits, but there is also a lot of beings in the forest that are here to teach us and to whisper in our ears some maybe principles that we have forgotten in our modern daily life. So the trees also are, our bridges for old souls, or for not souls, but for old spirits that wants to go to the other side. So that would be really interesting to call in the help of trees to transmute, to be the bridge and to help them in this work. Yes?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just gonna open randomly. What should I focus on? All right, we've got, I think it was mostly this one, creative visualization. And it talks about using our imagination to find harmony within us. Through breathing, we can, for example, fill ourselves and surround ourselves with relaxing, purifying color. We can use, for example, the white ray, the blue ray, to cleanse our thoughts, the pink ray, to reconnect with the divine love, and so on. So I think it would be really interesting to use them.
This actually reminds me of the power of imagination. Our thoughts create all the time, and it's our imagination which gives us power behind it. And so if we're in a scary situation, we can imagine that suddenly light comes in, our guides come in to help us. And with that strength of imagination, we can actually give ourselves the power we need to sort things out.
Yes.
So visualization is a wonderful tool.
Yes, we give a practice, and it's in page 77 if you want to check it out on the Self Psychic kit. Thank you very much, Chris. I hope you will enjoy Halloween. Anyway, we have some tools to bring in. And
Yes.
it's really important. I feel it's really, and we've been talking about energy work a lot this year, which is something I didn't do before. You know, we talk about cards and our passion with cards, but it's really important to be aware of what type of energy we are generating and we are attracting, because it's making the world we live in. And we cannot stay passive in this work. We have to do our part. However we are, wherever we are, we have to do our part with the tools we have.
Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you. So let me get back here. The admin's right. I think you can give them back, right? Yeah, I cannot do it. So I think you can help me with this.
I tried that last time.
Here we go.